Don't buy these 6 UK brands after you turn 60 because the body starts reacting to food in ways most people never notice until problems appear. Salt sensitivity rises. Sugar becomes harder to process. Digestion slows. Even trusted supermarket favorites can quietly work against long-term health once age changes nutritional needs. 1. Walkers, crisps, savory snacks. Walkers have been part of British snacking culture for generations. It controls around 17.3% of the entire UK savory snack market. That level of dominance means millions of adults eat Walker's crisps several times a week. Many people who grew up with the brand never questioned it. It was a lunchbox staple, a break time treat, something to grab with a sandwich at work or enjoy with tea in the evening. But the reality for older adults looks different. Once someone passes 60, the body becomes more sensitive to sodium. High blood pressure becomes more common. Cardiovascular risks increase. Kidney function often reduces with age. Salty snacks slowly add strain, especially when they appear in small but regular amounts. The British Heart Foundation has warned repeatedly that excess salt raises blood pressure and increases the chances of heart attacks and strokes. These warnings are not abstract. They are based on patterns seen across older age groups every year. Walkers did introduce a lower salt range in 2022 with about 45% less salt. That move showed the brand understood public concerns. But the majority of its classic flavors still carry high salt levels. When someone is over 60 and possibly taking medication for high blood pressure or fluid retention, that salt adds up in a way younger adults rarely notice. Crisps are enjoyable, familiar, and comforting. They feel harmless because the portion looks small. Yet a small portion repeated daily becomes a quiet pressure on the heart and kidneys. A single packet seems like nothing, but decades of intake turn these habits into health risks. For someone over 60, this is why it matters. Snacks that were once occasional become more meaningful with age. Choosing a lower salt crisp or switching to a baked version is a tiny decision that protects vascular health. It is not about giving up favorite brands forever. It is about updating old habits to suit a body that now requires a little more care. 2. Dorset cereals, upmarket breakfast cereals. Dorset cereals built a reputation as a premium, wholesome breakfast choice. Its packaging feels rustic. Its branding suggests natural living. Many people buy it because it feels healthier than sugary cereals. But health campaigners have criticized the brand for high sugar levels and for avoiding the front-of-pack color-coded system that helps consumers quickly spot nutritional risks. Action on Sugar called out several Dorset cereals varieties for delivering more sugar than expected from a cereal marketed toward health-conscious shoppers. This becomes more relevant for adults over 60 because energy metabolism slows. Older people often need more fiber, more protein, and significantly less added sugar. Breakfast is the first meal of the day. It sets blood sugar rhythm. High sugar cereals spike glucose levels quickly. For someone over 60, that spike encourages weight gain, inflammation, and midday energy crashes. It can also worsen prediabetes or diabetes, two conditions that become increasingly common with age. A recent article noted that high-sugar cereals often behave like empty calories. They fill the stomach but contribute very little toward long-term strength, muscle maintenance, or digestive health. That is a problem for older adults who need nutrient-dense breakfasts with slow-release energy. Many people in their 40s and 50s could get away with sugary cereal without feeling the impact. But after 60, the body absorbs and responds to sugar differently. Glucose remains in the bloodstream longer, and spikes become harder to manage. Luxury breakfast brands sometimes target younger adults. They market lifestyle, aesthetics, and flavor variety. But older adults have different biological needs. Less sugar helps reduce inflammation, more whole grain supports digestion, higher fiber encourages regularity and gut health. For someone over 60, shifting from high-sugar cereals to plain whole grain or low-added sugar varieties can improve energy stability and reduce strain on the pancreas. Dorset cereals, especially its richer or fruit-heavy versions, may not be the ideal daily choice. A simple change in cereal can transform morning health without sacrificing flavor. 3. Alpen, muesli, and granola. Alpen is a British household name. It launched in 1971 under Weetabix and became one of the UK's most loved muesli brands. Many people grew up eating Alpen or switched to it in adulthood because it feels healthier than colorful cereals aimed at children. The branding promotes natural grains, nuts, and fruit. For years, people assumed it was a better option. In many cases, it is, but for someone over 60, the calorie and sugar profile of traditional muesli deserves attention. Regular granola often contains dried fruit, sweetened nuts, honey, or added sugar. These ingredients raise calorie density. Older adults have lower caloric needs because metabolism slows with age. They also require nutrient density rather than sugar-heavy energy. A bowl of Alpen Original can quietly add more sugar than someone expects. Even the dried fruit itself increases glucose load, which matters for older bodies that respond more slowly to insulin. Several muesli and granola brands, including sugary versions of Alpen, will fall under the UK junk food advertising restrictions because they are high in fat or sugar. This indicates that the government recognizes these cereals as less suitable for daily consumption, even if they look natural or clean. Older adults often face the challenge of maintaining lean muscle, supporting digestion, and keeping energy levels stable through the day. A cereal that carries too much sugar or too many calories can work against those needs. It encourages fat storage rather than muscle support. It causes mid-morning hunger crashes. It complicates weight control at a stage of life where losing weight becomes harder. For someone over 60, the solution is simple. Choose Alpen no added sugar, or a plain whole grain version with minimal dried fruit. A cereal with high fiber and low sugar supports digestion, keeps blood sugar steady, and helps preserve muscle by leaving room for adequate protein intake. Granola is not the enemy. It just needs to fit the needs of a body that absorbs nutrients differently after 60. 4. Kellogg's, mass-market breakfast cereals. Kellogg's cereals have been in UK homes for well over half a century. Some people ate them as children, raised their own families on them, and never stopped buying the familiar boxes. Frosties, Cocoa Pops, and similar classics became comfort foods in many households. They carry nostalgia, memory, and routine. For millions of older adults, grabbing a bowl in the morning feels natural because the product has been part of their life for decades. But the nutritional profile of these cereals becomes much more relevant after 60. Kellogg's UK has even challenged government rules on high-sugar cereals, which shows how deep the debate around sugar levels has become. Many of its most loved cereals remain high in added sugar. Frosties, for example, contain significant sugar levels because the flakes are coated to create their signature taste. Cocoa Pops carry added sugar as well. Even cereals marketed toward adults often contain more sugar than people expect. Older adults face unique metabolic challenges. The body becomes less efficient at managing glucose. The pancreas works harder. Insulin sensitivity decreases. A sugary breakfast can cause a rapid rise in blood sugar, followed by a crash that leaves someone tired or hungry again too soon. Over time, this pattern contributes to weight gain and increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. Studies have shown that stable morning blood sugar levels support better energy throughout the day, better mood, and healthier weight control. A diet analysis published in The Times suggested that older adults look for cereals containing less than about 5 grams of sugar per 100 grams. It also emphasized the importance of higher fiber content for digestive health. Many Kellogg's cereals do not meet this guideline. The marketing may be aimed at children, but older adults often stick with these cereals out of habit. It is the habit that becomes the issue. Sugar levels matter more after 60 because the body processes sugar more slowly. This means the sugar stays in the bloodstream longer and stresses the system more intensely. People over 60 also tend to move less. They burn fewer calories and require more nutrient-dense food. A sugary cereal offers energy but does not offer the kind of energy that supports long-term health. It gives a quick boost and then fades away. This is why making a shift now matters. Choosing lower sugar cereals or whole grain options can help maintain steadier blood sugar. It can reduce the risk of midday crashes. It can support healthier weight management. It can also help protect against long-term complications related to blood sugar imbalances. Kellogg's is not an unhealthy brand in itself, but its high-sugar products were designed during a time when people had different lifestyles and higher calorie needs. After 60, the body has a different set of priorities. Switching cereals becomes a simple decision with meaningful benefits. 5. Princes, canned soups, and processed foods. Princes Group has been part of British life since 1880. It built its name on canned meats, soups, pastes, and processed foods that became essential during times when fresh produce was expensive or hard to store. Many older adults trust Princes because they grew up seeing the brand in their parents' cupboards. Convenience and affordability made it a practical choice. For retirees or older individuals living alone, canned food often feels like the easiest option. It lasts long, requires little preparation, and avoids the waste associated with fresh produce. But convenience hides nutritional concerns that become more serious with age. Research on ready meals and canned foods shows consistently high levels of salt, preservatives, and additives. A survey focused on meals commonly eaten by older people revealed excessive salt levels in many ready-to-eat products. Salt is added to preserve texture, flavor, and shelf life. For younger adults, this may not cause immediate harm. For those over 60, long-term salt intake becomes a quiet risk that builds slowly. Ultra-processed foods, known as UPFs, have been linked in UK reviews to more than 30 harmful health outcomes. These include heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and increased mortality. Many Princes products fall into the UPF category because they contain stabilizers, flavor enhancers, modified starches, and preservatives used to extend shelf life. Eating these foods occasionally may not be problematic, but eating them frequently can gradually undermine health. Older adults often face reduced kidney function and higher sensitivity to sodium. They may take medications that interact with salt intake. They may have digestive systems that rely on natural fiber to stay regular. Canned meals do not offer the fiber or hydration found in fresh foods. They often lack quality protein and micronutrients needed for muscle preservation, immune function, and wound healing. Financial limitations also play a role. Many people over 60 rely on affordable meals. Canned products appear cost-effective, yet the long-term health costs associated with UPFs make them a less beneficial choice. A diet rich in fresh vegetables, lean, protein, and whole grains can support stronger immunity, healthier blood pressure, and better digestion. It may take slightly more preparation, but the benefits compound over time. Princes as a brand are not harmful. It fills a need for convenience and affordability. But relying on canned or processed meals as a regular staple after 60 increases risks that were not as significant earlier in life. Moving toward fresh food does not require abandoning convenience. It simply means choosing whole ingredients more often and using canned products sparingly. For someone past 60, this small shift can support greater vitality and overall well-being. 6. McVitie's biscuits and snack cakes. McVitie's biscuits have a place in nearly every British home. Digestives, hobnobs, rich tea, and chocolate-coated varieties are loved across generations. They appear with tea, at family gatherings, during holidays, and as everyday comfort snacks. They are part of cultural identity. People over 60 often reach for them without thinking because they grew up with them. But biscuits carry high sugar, saturated fat, and sometimes higher salt levels. These nutritional elements matter more for older adults because metabolism slows and digestion often becomes less efficient. The body cannot burn calories as quickly. Excess sugar converts into stored fat more easily. High-fat snacks affect cholesterol and heart health. Even dental health becomes more vulnerable to sugar-related damage as gums recede and enamel weakens with age. Research indicates that older shoppers often eat snacks based on habit rather than nutritional evaluation. Younger consumers pay more attention to health claims and packaging labels, while older shoppers stick to familiar brands. This creates a gap between what someone likes and what their body needs. Habit becomes the main driver, even when the snack offers more sugar or calories than recommended for someone over 60. Regular biscuit consumption makes calorie control more difficult. A few biscuits with tea can add more sugar than intended. Snack cakes can be especially high in saturated fat, which affects cardiovascular health. Over time, these small treats contribute to weight gain, reduced energy, and increased cardiovascular strain. But the solution is not to give up the pleasure of a snack. It is to choose snacks that support rather than challenge the body. Options with higher protein, more fiber, or lower sugar can provide the same comfort without the long-term impact. For example, oat-based snacks with minimal added sugar can boost digestion. High-fiber crackers with seeds can support cholesterol control. Fruit slices with nut butter can satisfy cravings while supporting muscle health. McVitie's remains a beloved brand, but after 60, the body benefits from snacks that nourish rather than simply satisfy a craving. Adjusting snack habits does not need to feel restrictive. It becomes a way to stay active, feel lighter, and maintain stable energy throughout the day. Subscribe, like, and comment why you like this video for a chance to win a new Apple MacBook.